For those of you who have access to my slideshows and my classes, you'll see that I've posted a picture on slide 2. The painting by John Gast in 1872 called American Progress. That is an artistic depiction of American manifest destiny. It's a representation of a modernization of the New West. And I've got the picture pulled up in my view. For those of you who may be just watching this video at your own discretion, I'll try and include a link to this picture so you can see. Otherwise, you can do a search. American Progress is the name of the painting by John Gast, or John Gast rather. Okay. In this painting, again, as I've mentioned, it's a depiction of the modernization of the American West. In reality, there's something else going at play here, and I want you to take a look at this picture and kind of see what you've got in mind. And beginning, the most obvious aspect of this painting here is the angelic figure right front and center. It's a white woman with long flowing hair. She's wearing a gown. Looks like she's kind of floating in the air. In her right hand, she's holding a Bible. Right? She's holding a Bible. Okay? In her left hand, she is holding telephone wire or power lines, whichever they may be. Okay? She's bringing progress westward. She's bringing Christian prosperity and values westward. She's facing west, coming from the east. And as you can see, the image in the east, the sun is rising over the harbor. And you see a city with bridges and ships in the background. You see a train in the background. You see another train where you have power lines or otherwise telephone lines along the railroad. Okay. You're starting to see a modernization of the West. You also see in the bottom right corner, you see yeoman farmers with their plow and their livestock that can help carry the plow. They're farming new territory. There's a deer running off. There also looks like right in the middle, in the bottom, some kind of explorers just kind of with their pickaxe. They're going to go maybe do something. There's a bear off in the bottom right that looks like it's fearing for its life. You have a stagecoach, like a Wells Fargo stagecoach, right at the angelic figure's feet. That very well could be a representation of a bank, maybe bringing money from Fargo, North Dakota down into California or anything else of the sort. You have just to the left of the angelic figure's knee, you have like a settler stagecoach where maybe a family is traveling along the Oregon Trail. They're going to go from the eastern parts of the United States maybe to settle out west near Oregon Territory. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. And then, of course, you have in the top left, you have what looks to be bison that are largely being run away. You see Native Americans doing the very same thing, looking at this angelic figure, wondering what's going on. They're being pushed further and further west, and you have this enlightening figure moving from east to west. It's getting brighter as this angelic figure moves further and further west. So as you observe this picture, American Progress by John Gast, I want you to take in some thoughts, and I want you to gather your own opinions based upon what you see in this publication, because various different things are meant around this time. This painting was painted roughly about 20 to 30 years after the depicted time frame. This is actually post-Civil War that it was painted. But the idea that the painter had would be a depiction as to how the West would be modernized. Well, in order to modernize it, you have to settle it first. You have to claim it before that, even. Okay. So, by the time the decade of the 1840s had unveiled, it had become obvious to most Americans that the United States would continue to expand territorially, in such a sense that many Americans believed in the idea that the United States was already preordained. We were destined to expand from the East Coast, where our original 13 colonies were developed. We were destined to expand across the entire North American continent, all the way to the Pacific Ocean. That was our destiny. It's our God given, it's almost like a God given right. We are going to expand territorially. We are going to modernize the West. We are going to bring our Christian white values to the West. That's largely the idea behind Manifest Destiny. You're bringing white Christian values because it's basically preordained almost. You are destined to expand from coast to coast. Some people even had the idea that they were going to expand even further. Why not just annex all of Mexico and the Caribbeans and all of Canada while we're at it? Why stop at North America? Why don't we just annex all of South America too? Why even stop there? Why not all the rest of the world? You know, people with all these real strange ambitions. Fact of the matter is, it was looking more and more obvious that the United States not only was going to expand westward territorially, it was obvious in a sense that people believed that they should, because they were basically destined, a God-given destiny, if you will. Manifest destiny. So take a look at this picture. American progress. We're bringing enlightenment, literally and figuratively almost. We're bringing electricity. We're bringing telephone wire. We're bringing trains. We're bringing commerce. We're bringing agricultural techniques. We're bringing white values. And there's going to be new lands that we can settle. Okay, well, what about slavery? We'll talk about that when we get there. How about that? Okay. This depiction is unique in a sense that, yeah, the angelic figure is holding a Bible in her right hand. So obviously, Christian values are espoused here, especially by the artist. But it's also a white angelic figure. So white Christian values obviously are placed with heavy emphasis within this publication. That is not meant to make a political statement that say anything for or against white people or anything else of the sort. That's what was depicted at the time of its painting. And it was largely symbolic of how white folks basically felt in the antebellum period. They believed that they were predestined to go from coast to coast. They had seen nothing against the sort in their entire history since the Revolution anyway. So that was kind of how things were viewed. So I view this American Progress picture. I see the stagecoaches. I see the bank stagecoach and the yeoman farmers and the settlers, and I see those Native Americans being run off, and I see those bison being run off as well. This picture makes me incredibly sad. It also makes me proud at the same time. From a personal standpoint, we would not be where we are today if this didn't happen, and yet some really sad things had to happen in order for it to happen. So I have mixed feelings about this depiction here. But we are where we are because of it, and it's interesting. So again, American Progress by John Gast, an 1872 artistic publication. Manifest Destiny.